Nein. Nostalgic. Golden hour warmth, gentle pace. With a hint of melancholy beneath the surface, the late May sun hung low over the manicured lawns of Westbridge Academy, casting golden halos over the sea of navy blue gowns and mortarboards. Laughter. Pandane, Ileini, Payane, Tar, It's Camera flashes, and the occasional sob of a proud parent filled the air, a symphony of endings and beginnings. Among the graduates stood 18-year-old Ethan Caldwell, his spine straight, his smile practiced, his heart pounding with the kind of nervous excitement that only comes once in a lifetime. He adjusted the tassel on his cap, the gold thread catching the light like a promise. This is it, he thought. The last day of pretending. Controlled, reflective, slightly tense, voice steady. But with underlying unease, Ethan had spent his entire life playing a role. The perfect son, the honor student, the lacrosse captain with the easy charm and the Ivy League acceptance letter tucked safely in his desk drawer. But beneath the polished surface, there was always a quiet unease, a sense that something about his reflection in the mirror didn't quite add up. His eyes were too dark for his father's pale blue gaze. His laugh too sharp, too quick, unlike his mother's measured, melodic tones. He'd chalked it up to genetics playing tricks, until today. Sudden shift, curiosity turning to dread. Slower pace. Voice drops slightly. It started with a letter. Not the kind delivered by mail, but the kind left behind, tucked inside the hollowed-out copy of The Great Gatsby on his father's study shelf. The one Ethan had been told never to touch. Curiosity, that old thief, had crept in during the pre-graduation chaos. While his parents hosted a champagne toast for donors and board members in the garden, Ethan slipped upstairs, drawn by a whisper of guilt and something deeper, dread. Denza, Candelmo, Pili, Nebita, no, Canenten. Hushed, almost breathless, as if reading a secret. The envelope was yellowed at the edges, sealed with wax that had cracked with time. Inside, a single sheet of paper bore his mother's elegant script, but the words were anything but graceful. If you're reading this, Ethan, then the truth has found its way to you. And I'm so sorry. You are not Richard and Eleanor Caldwell's son. You are mine and Rosa's. She carried you, gave birth to you in silence, and walked away so you could have everything we could give you. We made a choice, a selfish one, perhaps. But in our world, reputation is currency, and we were terrified of losing it all. Forgive us. Forgive her. And most of all, forgive yourself for the anger you'll feel. Shock, voice cracks slightly. Pace stutters, then drops to a raw whisper. Ethan's breath stopped. The room tilted. He gripped the edge of the desk, knuckles white, as if the floor might swallow him whole. Rosa, the housekeeper, the woman who'd scrubbed his floors, folded his laundry, and watched him with eyes that always seemed to hold a secret sadness. The woman he'd once snapped at for touching his stuff when he was 12. The woman he'd barely acknowledged for years. Overwhelming, nausea, pain, shame, betrayal, voice tight. Faster, then slows with emotional weight. A wave of nausea rolled through him. Shame, betrayal, see, confusion so thick it choked him. He stumbled to the window, pressing his forehead against the cool glass. Outside, his mother, Eleanor, laughed with the senator's wife, her pearls glinting, her posture immaculate. How many times had she looked at him and seen not her son, but a lie dressed in privilege? Detached, numb, dreamlike, monotone, with subtle tremor, the graduation ceremony passed in a blur. Ethan walked across the stage like a ghost, his name echoing over the speakers as if it belonged to someone else. He shook the headmaster's hand, accepted his diploma, and smiled for the cameras, all while his mind screamed in silence. Every applause felt like mockery. Every hug from a classmate, a performance. Sheer, accountant, internen car, not a naive in it all. Raw, emotional build-up, voice strained, then breaks after the ceremony, while guests mingled under white tents and string lights. Ethan slipped away. He found Rosa in the staff kitchen, polishing silverware with a cloth worn thin from use. She looked up, startled, her hands freezing mid-motion. Her eyes, his eyes, widened in recognition. Then fear. "Mr. Ethan," she said softly, her voice rough with years of swallowed words. "Congratulations." He couldn't speak at first. His throat was raw, his chest tight. Then the dam broke. "Why didn't you tell me?" His voice cracked, louder than he intended. "All these years, you were here, watching me, and you never said a word." Heartbroken. Trembling, voice softens with pain, then hardens with accusation. Rosa set down the fork. Her hands trembled. "Your mother, she made me promise, said it was better this way, that you'd have a life, real opportunities. No stigma, no whispers." She looked down, ashamed. I thought love was enough from a distance." "Love? And Ethan laughed bitterly, the sound sharp and hollow. "You let them raise me like I was theirs. You let me believe lies. You let me treat you like help. Emotional pivot, angers often into dawning realization." Voice cracks with vulnerability. Rosa flinched as if struck. Tears welled in her eyes, but she didn't wipe them away. "I would have given you the world, Mio, but they offered you a better one, and I was just a maid with a broken heart." The word Mio, my son, hit him like a punch to the gut. It was the first time she'd ever called him that. In that moment, the anger didn't vanish, but it shifted. It wasn't just rage at her, it was rage at the system. At the gilded cage his life had been. At the parents who chose image over truth. Tender, foul, finidinint, vulnerable, quiet, pace slows. Voice softens with tears. He sank into a chair across from her, his graduation gown pooling around his feet like discarded armor. "Do you have pictures of me as a baby?" Rosa nodded, reaching into the pocket of her uniform. She pulled out a faded photo, her younger self, high, exhausted but radiant, holding a swaddled newborn. Ethan, his tiny hand gripping her finger. The resemblance was undeniable. He traced the edge of the photo with his thumb, tears finally spilling over. I don't even know your last name. Mendoza. She whispered. Rosa Mendoza. Rosa Mendoza. Hum. He repeated, testing the syllables like a prayer. My mom. She didn't correct him. Didn't say biological mother. Just nodded, tears streaming down her cheek. Warm, intimate, healing, gentle pace, soft tone, like a lullaby that night. Ethan didn't go to the after party at the country club. He didn't toast with his friends or pose for selfies with his lacrosse teammates. Instead, he sat on the back porch with Rosa, eating leftover cake from the staff table, talking until the stars blinked away. She told him about his birth in a clinic on the south side, about the hushed meetings with Eleanor, about the day she handed him over and walked out the back door so the neighbors wouldn't see. He told her about his fears, his dreams, the pressure of being a Caldwell. For the first time, he felt seen, not as a symbol of legacy, but as a person. Resolute. Ha! Eine Damnau. Calm but firm. Steady pace. Clear enunciation. Quiet power. The next morning, Ethan confronted his parents. Not with shouting, but with quiet resolve. He stood in the sunroom, where they sipped espresso and read the Wall Street Journal, and laid it all bare. I know, he said simply. Eleanor's cup clattered into its saucer. Richard stood, his face pale. Ethan, we can explain. No. Ethan interrupted, his voice steady. You don't get to explain anymore. You get to listen. I'm not returning to Princeton in the fall. What? Richard sputtered. After everything we've done for you, you didn't do it for me. Ethan shot back. You did it for your name, your reputation. Well, I'm done being your prop. He turned to Eleanor. You wanted to protect me from scandal? The real scandal is that you let me grow up thinking I was someone I'm not. He paused, his voice softening just slightly. I'm going to community college. I'm taking a job. And I'm getting to know my real mother. Eleanor reached for him, tears in her eyes. We love you. Ethan, do you? He asked, his gaze piercing. Or do you just love the idea of me? He walked out without another word. Hopeful, grounded, peaceful, warm tone. Steady rhythm, sense of liberation in the weeks that followed. Ethan moved into a small apartment near the city college. Rosa visited every Sunday, bringing tamales and stories of his childhood she'd kept locked away. He enrolled in sociology and creative writing, subjects that felt real. Urgent. He deleted his Instagram, unfollowed the influencers, and started journaling instead. At first, the guilt gnawed at him. Was he throwing away everything? But then he remembered Rosa's hands, calloused from work, yet gentle when they held his face. He remembered the way she'd always left his favorite cookies on the counter. Even when he ignored her, love had been there all along. He just hadn't known how to see it. One evening, as they sat on his fire, escape watching the sunset paint the sky in oranges and purples. Rosa turned to him. "You're still you?" "Mio fan," she said. "Just more." Ethan smiled. "A real one this time." "Yeah," he said. "I think I finally am. Back in Westbridge, huh?" The rumors swirled. The Caldwell's son had gone off the rails. But Ethan didn't care. For the first time in his life, he wasn't performing. He was living. And in that truth, messy and raw and beautiful, he found something he'd never had before: peace.